You ever open your fridge one morning and just stare? Like you're not even hungry, you're just standing there, the cool air brushing your face, thinking about life. That's exactly what Martha did that morning. She was 71, living alone in her quiet house in Kentucky. Her husband, Ed, had passed 5 years back. The mornings were quiet now. Just her, a coffee cup, and that humming old refrigerator that had seen more birthdays than most folks could count. She reached inside, grabbed that shiny pack of deli meat, the same brand Ed used to love, and froze for a second. Something about it felt off. Maybe it was the smell. Maybe it was just her gut whispering, "Girl, you gotta stop eating that." See, that fridge of hers wasn't just a storage space for leftovers and memories. It was a mirror. Every item in there had a story, a habit, a comfort, and a danger. And like so many seniors, she never thought much about it, till that day. Because that morning, after her neighbor Linda came by with some crazy news from the local doctor, Martha's whole view on food flipped. Linda had just come from a wellness seminar, the kind folks usually skip because they think it has all new age talk. But the doctor there said something that hit hard. Most seniors aren't getting sick from new things. They're getting sick from what's been in their fridge for years. And that line stuck in Martha's head like glue. She sat down that evening, opened her fridge, and made a promise to herself. She'd finally let go of the foods that were silently breaking her down from the inside. Not all at once, but one by one. The first one, processed meats. Yeah, the ones that look so neat and easy, the bacon, the hot dogs, the ham slices you just slap between bread when you're too tired to cook. She used to think, it's fine. I've been eating this all my life. But what she didn't realize was that her body, now older, didn't fight the same way it used to. All those nitrates and preservatives, they didn't just sit quietly, they built up. And according to that doctor Linda mentioned, they could trigger inflammation, stomach issues, even increase cancer risk in older folks. Martha didn't cry, but she did sigh. A long, heavy sigh. Because it's not easy saying goodbye to foods that feel like part of your history. She wrapped that deli meat up, tossed it in the trash, and whispered, "You had your time. But I'm choosing peace now," and that was just the beginning. When she took a second look around her kitchen, she realized something powerful. Every item, every jar, every bottle carried a tiny secret. Some helped her live longer, others were quietly shaving off days she didn't even know she was losing. That night, she made a cup of chamomile tea, turned off the lights, and sat in silence. Her fridge hummed softly in the background. And for the first time in years, Martha felt something she hadn't felt in a while: control. Because the truth is, when you hit your 60s and 70s, life doesn't warn you before it changes. Your body slows down, your heart beats softer, your gut gets more sensitive, and all the things you got away with when you were younger start catching up. And that's when she realized that this wasn't just about food. It was about staying here. Staying healthy enough to dance with her grandkids, laugh with her neighbors, breathe without pain. The fridge became her first battle, and she was ready to clean it out, one dangerous item at a time. The next morning, the sun peeked through Martha's curtains like a lazy smile. She poured herself a cup of coffee, that same old chipped mug Ed once gave her, and opened her fridge again. Cold air brushed her face, and for a moment, she just stood there, like she was waiting for that old fridge to confess its secrets. On the top shelf sat something she thought she'd never give up. Her sweet little Pick-Dash-Me-Dash-Up, a bright red soda can. She only drank one a day, sometimes half. She'd say, "Oh, it's fine. I don't smoke, I don't drink, this is my one treat." But the truth? That bubbly drink wasn't treating her, it was tricking her. Because the sugar in that can wasn't the same sugar she grew up with. It was the processed, chemical kind, the kind that sneaks into your blood and refuses to leave quietly. The kind that messes with your joints, stiffens your veins, and keeps your heart running on fumes. She remembered the doctor's words again. Sugar doesn't just feed your cravings. It feeds your diseases. Her fingers trembled a little as she held that can. Because this wasn't just soda. This was comfort, memories, Friday nights with Ed watching TV, the fizzing sound echoing through the living room. She wasn't giving up a drink, she was giving up a piece of home. But that's the hardest part about aging, isn't it? You start realizing that the things that once made you feel alive might now be the very things stealing your strength. Martha took one long look at that can, then gently placed it on the counter. She whispered, "You were sweet, but I deserve sweeter days." And into the trash it went. But her fridge wasn't done haunting her yet, because right next to that soda sat another quiet villain, one she'd always trusted, her favorite yogurt cups. They looked innocent, cute little containers with bright fruit pictures on them. She loved having one for breakfast, thinking she was being healthy. But when she flipped the label around that day, her eyes widened. 23 grams of sugar, artificial colors, corn syrup. Her heart sank. All those years of thinking she was doing her body a favor, and she'd been feeding it a slow storm instead. She could almost hear Ed's teasing voice. "You and your yogurt, sweetheart." She smiled sadly, holding back a tear. "Guess we both got fooled, Ed," she murmured. It's wild how marketing plays with seniors. All those healthy words printed on packaging. Low fat, light, all natural. But behind those shiny words? Chemicals, sugar, things your body doesn't even know how to process anymore. See, when you're young, your body forgives you. But when you're older, every bite is a choice. You either fuel your healing or feed your hurting. Martha set those yogurt cups aside and opened the freezer next. Frosty air hit her hands, frozen dinners, microwavable meals. Quick and easy, she stared at them. Those bright boxes that promised balanced meals, but hid salt, preservatives, and oils that made her feel heavy and tired. And she thought about how often seniors, especially those living alone, lean on convenience just to get by. No one talks about that part, the loneliness in cooking for one. The silence in the kitchen when no one's there to share a meal with. So you reach for what's fast, not what's right. That day, Martha decided something. If she was going to stay alive longer, it wasn't just about cutting out bad food. It was about loving herself enough to cook again, even if it was just for her. Even if it meant dirty dishes and quiet dinners. Because that fridge wasn't just full of bad food. It was full of old habits, and letting go of those was harder than throwing anything away. When she shut the door, she didn't feel sad anymore. She felt lighter, like she was making room, not just for healthier food, but for hope. That evening, the rain started. Soft, steady, like the sky was weeping for something only it understood. Martha sat by the window with her tea, watching drops slide down the glass like memories falling away. She wasn't sad, not really. But she could feel a tug in her chest, the kind that comes when you know you're re-saying goodbye to something you once loved. The fridge hummed behind her, quiet and steady, like it was waiting for her next move. She stood up, wiped her hands on her robe, and opened that door one more time. There, on the middle shelf, was the one thing she thought she'd never touch. Her cheese drawer. That drawer had seen every kind of cheese you could think of. Cheddar, Swiss, pepper jack, mozzarella sticks for her grandkids when they came over. But the older she got, the more she noticed something. After eating, her stomach would bloat, her joints would ache, her energy would crash. She always blamed getting old, but now she wasn't so sure. She picked up one of the plastic-wrapped slices and turned it over. Ingredients she couldn't even pronounce. Processed cheese product. Not real cheese, just chemicals pretending to be something comforting. She shook her head slowly. All these years, she thought she was indulging in something simple. But what she'd really been doing was filling her body with fake food that her system couldn't handle anymore. She whispered under her breath, "No wonder my body's been begging me to slow down," because the truth hit her hard that night. It wasn't her age that was making her tired. It was what she was feeding her body. She reached in, grabbed all those cheese slices, and tossed them out. It wasn't easy. It felt like throwing away Sunday mornings, grilled sandwiches, and Ed's corny, cheesy jokes. But she smiled anyway, because sometimes loving yourself means saying goodbye to the things that no longer love you back. Then her eyes landed on the last thing. The one she'd been avoiding since she started this whole mission. The creamy white bottle sitting in the door, her salad dressing. Now, that dressing had been her health trick for years. Whenever she tried to eat better, she'd toss some greens in a bowl and pour that stuff all over it, thinking, "See? I'm eating clean." But when she finally read the label, her stomach dropped. Soybean oil, added sugars, preservatives, artificial flavors, all in something that was supposed to be healthy. She felt that sting again, that realization that even the things she trusted most weren't what they seemed. She grabbed the bottle, unscrewed the cap, and poured it straight down the sink. The smell hit her, sour, fake, chemical. And in that moment, she didn't feel regret. She felt free. Because she finally got it. It wasn't just about what she was eating, it was about reclaiming her power. See, nobody tells you this when you're older. Your body is still fighting for you. Every cell, every heartbeat, every breath is begging you to give it something real. But the food industry, it doesn't care about that. It sells comfort in shiny packaging, and we buy it because it reminds us of easier times. But easier isn't always better. Sometimes it's just quieter damage. When Martha shut that fridge door that night, she didn't feel alone. She felt strong. Like she'd finally started listening to what her body had been whispering for years. And you know what? For the first time in a long time, she didn't need a snack to feel satisfied. She needed peace. The morning after the storm, the air smelled different, clean, fresh, like the world had washed itself overnight. Martha woke up before the sun, wrapped in her old flannel robe, and shuffled to the kitchen with bare feet on cold tiles. She opened the fridge, and for the first time in years, it looked alive. No more plastic-wrapped lies, no more sugary traps. Just real food, bright, colorful, honest. Fresh spinach. Blueberries she'd picked up from the farmer's market last weekend, a jar of oats, a pitcher of lemon water, and tucked in the corner, a small note she'd written to herself on a sticky pad. "Don't just eat to live, eat to stay alive," she smiled. Not the polite kind of smile people give in passing, the real one, the kind that comes from deep in your soul when you realize you've finally started taking care of yourself again. She poured her oats into a bowl, added a handful of berries, and sat by the window as the sunlight slowly crept across her kitchen table. The same place she and Ed used to sit every Sunday morning. But instead of sadness, she felt something softer this time. Gratitude. She whispered, "We had our time, Ed. Now it's my turn to take care of me." It's funny how a fridge can hold so much of your life. Every shelf, every drawer, it tells a story about what you value, what you crave, what you believe you deserve. For so long, she'd filled it with quick fixes, with comfort foods meant to fill the silence that came after loss. But all that ever did was keep her tired. Now, her fridge was quiet in a different way. Not empty, but peaceful. She'd started replacing things little by little. Instead of processed meats, she had grilled chicken she'd made herself, seasoned with olive oil and herbs. Instead of soda, she had homemade fruit-infused water that actually refreshed her without the sugar crash. Instead of flavored yogurt, she had plain Greek yogurt with a drizzle of honey. Instead of that cheesy drawer of regret, she had slices of fresh avocado and hummus. And instead of those bottled dressings, she made her own with lemon, olive oil, and a sprinkle of garlic salt. Tiny changes. But they made her feel alive. Because here's the real truth nobody says out loud. When you start feeding your body better, your soul notices. Her joints hurt less. Her mind felt clearer. Her nights weren't restless anymore. And the doctor, at her next checkup, smiled wide and said, "Whatever you're doing, Martha, keep doing it." She laughed, tucking a strand of silver hair behind her ear. "I just cleaned my fridge," she said softly. But deep down, she knew. It wasn't just the fridge she'd cleaned. It was her life. She finally stopped letting convenience control her. She stopped listening to that little voice that said, "You're too old to change," and she started listening to her body instead. Because growing older doesn't mean giving up control. It means taking it back. It means feeding your years, not your fears. That night, she sat back in her recliner, a soft blanket around her shoulders, the TV glowing low in the background. She looked at the light from her fridge, spilling softly across the kitchen floor, and it didn't hum like before. It sounded content. Maybe that's what peace sounds like. Not silence, but balance. She took a deep breath, smiled to herself, and whispered, "Here's to second chances, even the ones hiding in your fridge."